Get ready with me while I tell you the story of how I had 3 kids by the age of 20. I just posted pictures in my bikini on Instagram at the pool, and somebody commented, "This is why you have 8 kids with 3 different dads, blah, blah, blah." So I was like, oh, this would be a fun time to do a story time on how I actually have 3 kids, and I'm 23 and I have 2 baby daddies. So when I was 16, I was living in Maryland outside of DC, and that's pretty much where I grew up. And then I had a pretty interesting home situation, so I ended up like basically running away from home to live with my aunt that lived in Delaware, which is a few hours away by the beach. And I was just kind of gonna go for like a little bit, stay for the summer, but I ended up staying there, and I've lived there since, except for like some time that I spent in Hawaii back in like 2020. That summer that I lived there, I ended up meeting a boy. I was 16. It was kind of a summer fling thing. I was not being very responsible, and I ended up getting pregnant after a few months of dating. And I broke up with him and then found out that I was pregnant, and his response was that he was trying to get me pregnant so that I wouldn't break up with him. So I still ended up breaking up with him, and I just decided, like, for personal reasons.
That is the most bizarre comment I've ever heard, and like really disgusting. The fact he just said to her, "I was hoping you would get pregnant so you wouldn't break up with me," like what? Just shows how immature they are. Like, not she specifically, but him. That's such a strange comment to make.
That I didn't want to get an abortion even though I was so young. My aunt said that she would support me no matter what I wanted to do. When I was 17, my first daughter, Layla, was born. He never ended up getting back together, and he pretty much remained like not present in her life. He saw her a few times when she was like a newborn. When she was little, I ended up starting a YouTube channel about being a young mom, and then I went back to high school for my senior year that fall, and that is when I met my second baby daddy, or like reconnected with him, Logan. So we got together. My daughter was 4 months old, and we ended up dating, and he kind of ended up like stepping in as like a dad to her. Most of you guys that follow me probably know this entire story, but I kind of wanted to just like retell it all together in one quick video. But so I get like halfway through my senior year, and then we end up getting a place together as soon as I turned 18, because I was making enough money to have my own place, and I had my own kid, so I wanted to have my own place. So we ended up moving in together and had been dating for like about 5 months, and then ended up getting pregnant with my second daughter. So at this point, we're kind of doing YouTube together. We finished high school, we have our second daughter, and that was like when I think I was 18 when she was born. She was like a newborn infant. We ended up moving to Hawaii together after we finished high school, and that was like so much fun, so crazy. And then we moved back home, and then ended up getting pregnant with our third daughter, Millie. When I was pregnant with my third, finally we're like old enough to buy a house and like had enough years of credit to buy a house. So obviously I wanted to like invest my money into having a home because I had 3 kids. So bought a house, and then we had our youngest when I was 20. She was born when I was 20. I turned 21 shortly after she was born. Now, obviously, we were very young when we got together and kept having like more kids at a really young age, and kind of just, I guess, like you guys have, there's more explanation on why we ended up splitting up like on my channel, so I'm not even gonna like get into that. But genuinely, we were so young and didn't even really like know who we were before we like got together and had kids. And I cannot complain about our current co-parenting situation. Like, we're such good friends, and so much happier just being friends and co-parenting. And it was hard at first, but now we, like I've also said on here, are just like really good friends and able to raise the kids together, but without like being in a relationship. That is the story on how I ended up having 3 kids with 2 different baby daddies by the age of 20. Also, I still don't really know where my first baby daddy is. So,
I mean, she seems very mature. You can tell she's had time to reflect on like what's happened, especially how she's saying like, you know, we were young and I got this house. Obviously no regret with like what she's trying to say, but I can just tell she's very reluctant of what she's done, and yeah. She seems very mature, you know, she's realised, you know, she's very young having kids, she's got a house, she very much put her children first, like especially that she went back to school, and got enough money in like her YouTube to buy herself a house and rent places. And it's nice to see that the second dad stepped in for her first child. And also they have like a really good relationship now, which is really nice to see. Like you don't really see much of that anymore. But yeah, just seems very chill, relaxed. Her home seems really nice in the background of this. Like her bedroom looks huge. You know, it's very common, I think, now for younger kids to get pregnant, and many people do it. Obviously, the majority of the time it is accidental, but if they know how to mature and be an adult, then they're fine. I really don't see a big problem with it. And this girl clearly, like this woman, like clearly sees the positive and the negatives, and she's very inspirational for others who may be going through a similar situation, you know, getting pregnant at 17, going to school and not going to college or anything, and they have this big future and it's like ruined by a child, even though children are never to blame with the situation. But yeah, she seems very mature and open-minded.